What's going on, guys? Juicy J4E2C here, and we are doing a Pacific Drive review today. I decided to start doing game reviews on this channel, and so we are starting out with Pacific Drive, and going forward, just let me know what kind of games you want to see. I believe that my next game review will be Dragon's Dogma. Just wanted to alert that to those who will find that important. But today, the focus is Pacific Drive. So going forward, since this is my first review, my desired format will be kind of an introduction of the game, cover the new player experience of said game. We will talk about the mechanics, progression, quality of life features, which I will call juicy features of games, things to be fixed, and then of course a conclusion. So, without further ado, let's get it going. Upon starting a new game in Pacific Drive, there is a quick intro setting up the world. To keep things short and relatively spoiler free, somebody wanted to make a cool technology, spooky things happened, there were mysterious evacuations and nobody was sure what was going on. A wall was built to zone off that area with a few more walls to follow as the zone expanded, and in 30 years' time, the government called it quits and sealed off any access available to the zone. Jumping into the gameplay, you begin in your car, set on what appears to be a delivery order with an ominous delivery instruction to stay on the roads. The radio is playing and off you go on your first Pacific Drive. This seemingly pleasant drive is interrupted quickly, and after a sequence of events I won't spoil for you, you wake up stranded off the road. You head down a path and find a car, which you are later told is a remnant. I will leave that to you to uncover yourself what that means from the story lore. Now, the new player experience here is relatively simple. You learn the basic driving controls, which does involve manual headlights and windshield wipers, which is a nice touch. Outside of your basic driving and movement controls, the first thing the game teaches you is how to put a tire on your car, quickly followed by a quick hands-on tutorial to siphon gas. Continuing on, guided by some voices on the radio, you arrive at a beaten-up garage, which happens to be your sanctuary going forward. You learn the basics of car maintenance and crafting within a decently short and concise tutorial, and when I say basic teachings, I mean that. For example, there isn't a great tutorial on car quirks. In fact, there isn't much of a tutorial at all. The most you get is a prompt to visit the Tinker Station, and hopefully you figure it out from there. For such a large mechanic of the game, I think this may need to be better explained. There isn't much handholding after the information overload of a beginning, which may or may not be a turnoff to you. However, this is a survival game, so if you can't handle learning some things the hard way, this may not be for you. Personally, I enjoy the experience of discovery in survival games, so this style of new player experience is right up my alley. I get caught up in the journey so long as the game gives me incentive to take the journey. Pacific Drive does exceptionally well at showing you the future potential of your upgrades right out of the gate once you unlock the fabrication station, which is your home of permanent upgrades. Unlike some games, the fabrication station doesn't hide the names or descriptions of upgrades. In games where this is the case, it is hard for me to get excited about the future of my playthrough because I can't work towards something I specifically want. As a new player to Pacific Drive, I found the plethora of upgrades available to me a motivator to play the game and kit out my station wagon with the most ridiculous build possible. I played on the default gameplay experience for Pacific Drive. With this, you have all the depth of car maintenance involving part replacement and upgrades, fuel and battery levels, car quirk development, car module advancements, and garage upgrades. Your station wagon is your lifeline in the zone, and anything you can do to take care of this car will be reciprocated back to you in the form of protection and transport. While there is nothing specifically that will physically assault you in this game, there is plenty that will try to hinder your progress or passively harm you, and your car can mitigate a lot of that so long as you spec into the right parts for the job. The main gameplay loop here is similar to any roguelike game you've ever played or watched. You begin at your garage, choose a destination, harvest resources, avoid anomalies, harvest even more resources, and get out through a gateway portal. You store your resources, fix your car, and do it all again. Depending on the success of your run, there are moments when you will spend a significant amount of time in the garage repairing or upgrading your car. There is a day and night cycle built into the game, and each stage is procedurally generated to have different conditions, weather, buildings, anomalies, and more. You will need to be adaptable. There's no one-size-fits-all solution in this game. And one thing I did want to mention here is the difference between puzzle games and problem-solving games. In puzzle games, typically there is a set solution, maybe two, maybe three. In certain puzzle games, when you come across a room, You have to figure out the clues, you have to figure out what to do to solve that puzzle. When you talk to your friends, they also had to follow the same clues, follow the same steps to get out of that room. There's just one size fits all. You do things in a certain order, and that's all. Pacific Drive does not fit into that category. This game is more so a problem-solving game where you, especially with all the different deep mechanics of this game, you have to be adaptable. There will be different conditions in every level. The levels will be different every single time. There will be different conditions, which are basically modifiers for that level. And you're going to be going different distances to different zones, picking up different resources, having to craft different things. Your car will develop different problems as you go along. Something that's very important in this game is to be adaptable. You will never be able to talk to your friend in this game and say you got to this area the same way as they did. The progression in this game functions through roguelike mechanics. You start with practically nothing, only having the most basic resources and workstations available to you. As you explore the outer zone, you will find anchors, which are marked on the map with yellow dots with circles around them. The bigger the circle, the more energy that anchor will provide to you. These anchors are required to unlock permanent upgrades that allow you to expand upon your garage as well as your vehicle functionality. You likewise can acquire upgrades for your own characters, such as more advanced tools, expanded backpack space, resistance to impact or radiation, and a few other things. Your run success will be deeply measured on how many anchors you are able to bring home to the garage. You can scavenge for resources all day, but if you aren't going out of your way to grab anchors, you will progress significantly slower than you may desire. Luckily, you are required to reach a certain threshold of anchor energy before you can warp home. You'll never beat 100% loss, so over time, steadily you'll unlock more and more technologies and vehicle parts which will allow you to go deeper into the zone. But if you truly go out and try to find those anchors, bring them home, you'll progress pretty quickly and be able to get all the things that you want. There are 3 layers of the zone which you can see on the map. The outer zone is the most friendly, having less threatening conditions, anomalies, and storm events. You drive past the second wall to the mid-zone while following along with the story objectives, which brings new perils but also new resources. Later on, you once again go through another wall to reach the final zone, where all the mysterious events began, and as you'd expect, this area is the most harsh. Each zone brings higher risk, but it is so satisfying to scrape by and return home with your treasured resources to get all the juicy upgrades you've been wanting. This game is about the journey, not the destination. On to the juicy features of this game. Storages are shaped like their physical appearance. I think that's something super cool. It is kind of just a little niche thing, but it's really cool to look at a drawer. You open the drawer and the grid system built into storages looks exactly like its physical counterpart. That is awesome. I think more games should do that. The game is played well on a controller or keyboard. PS5 controllers do have haptic feedback and adaptive triggers. That is mostly because this game is a console exclusive to PlayStation, but having it on PC when you're playing wired is pretty awesome. There are plenty of keyboard settings to have different driving sensitivities, so there are plenty of options for the keyboard users as well. Auto storage transfer for crafting materials, even if they aren't already contained within said storage, is amazing. Basically, say you have resources in your backpack, you open a locker that's completely empty, you can auto transfer all resources from your backpack to that locker, or vice versa. That's awesome. I also like the one-size-fits-all car part crafting. Basically what that means is a crafted door can be used for any door, including the back hatch. Panels basically can go on the side, or they can be your hood, etc. Mechanics are customizable. I will show a quick little scroll down here of the gameplay settings. Things varying from realism settings to different mechanics that you can change. You can slow down car quirk development. You can speed them up. You can make the game as hard or as easy as you want. And luckily, there aren't many difficulty-based trophies or achievements in this game, so you are able to customize to your liking. It's very accessible to everybody. However, there are a couple achievements or a couple settings that you cannot turn off, such as car damage, player damage. Those will actually disable your achievements or trophies. So if you want to keep those, if you're a trophy hunter, keep those on. I also, last juicy feature of Pacific Drive, I love the dynamic weather and even had several comments on my stream on how good the fog is in this game, and even the rain, of course, too. Now on to the things that need to be fixed. Some of the UI navigation is a bit bugged right now. Sometimes you'll get stuck in the logbook. Sometimes you'll open a storage on controller while holding the transfer trunk, and the initial cursor position will be stuck between the two storage grids. Just a couple weird things. Those can be easily fixed, I'm sure. Navigating between two storages on a controller can be tedious. I hope they had a toggle button to swap storages. Sometimes it is a little annoying to have to push the D-pad or the stick to go all the way to the other storage. I'd like if you could just push a button and toggle between the two. That would be pretty nice. A bit more explanation might be needed about the quirk system. I've heard about a few times that the quirks label on the status monitor doesn't change color, and I'm not sure if that's intentional. Basically, on your status monitor, if you have quirks, usually that label will be yellow. If you don't, it's green. But for me personally, I did run into that issue where I had 5 quirks at once and they were not showing up on my monitor. So I don't know if that's intentional. If there's 2 different types of quirks, I don't know. But I would love to get more clarification on that. In terms of performance, there is occasional stuttering because of the Unreal Engine optimization with this game. I am running on a Ryzen 9 5900X and a 7800 XT with up-to-date drivers. Other than that, performance was great on high settings at 1440p. Just the occasional stutter. It wasn't too bad, it wasn't very noticeable, but semi-frequent. And the last one, due to popular demand through Reddit and Twitter and every other video you've ever seen of this game, let us close the garage, devs. It'd be so amazing. You can close all the doors to your garage, but as soon as it starts raining, man, I just want to close the garage. It'd be so cozy. It's nice to have it open when it's sunny outside or when it's just clear, but when it's raining, man, come on, I don't want to get rain in my garage. In conclusion, Pacific Drive has been yet another sweet surprise in my Steam library in early 2024. Released after a few stellar releases in Enshrouded, Palworld, Helldivers 2, this game hasn't attracted much attention, but I believe this game stands alone in the unique gameplay it brings to the table. Priced at a tempting $30 for the base game, or $35 for the deluxe edition, it was very hard for me to pass up, and I have enjoyed every hour I've played. Just like every other game, there are bugs to fix and many great potential features to add. On occasion, I do feel the game on the default experience can be a bit too punishing in regards to vehicle damage or general car repair frequency, but those things may be balanced going forward, and even if they don't, I can still deal with it and enjoy my time in the zone. It can be quite peaceful when you aren't being rushed out by a storm or the need to repair. So overall, I'm going to score this on a 10 scale, as I will with all games going forward, and I'm going to give Pacific Drive a solid 8 out of 10 on the default experience with potential to increase as things are added and fixed. And with that, I hope you guys learned something new about this game, got some more attention on it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace!